Welcome back.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hopefully, let's start releasing these at like 7 p.m. That way it's acceptable, or 5 p.m. That way it's acceptable for you to have a drink with us.
What time zone though? Hey, pause this video. Let us know in the comments what time zone you're in. We'll take the average. We'll post at 5 o'clock, whatever the average time zone is.
Okay.
What time zone are you guys in?
Perfect.
We'll wait.
Love it. We'll wait. Cheers. Cheers to you. Hopefully you have a drink. Hopefully you have your spouse with you, because we're going to talk about things that, well, not this episode, but generally we talk about things that you and your spouse should talk about as well.
Thought-provoking, marriage-enhancing. If you guys are a married couple with small children, you might really have an opportunity to identify with what we talk about, because that's kind of the stage of life we're in, is young kids. We're a married couple. We're trying to make it all work.
Which
we also both work outside the home.
Totally. Which kind of brings us to our topic, and one of the reasons why we got scammed out of our minivan.
I forgot what this episode's about.
Our minivan.
He's right.
So every decision that I made was totally idiotic when it comes to selling our van.
If you're curious about why we decided to sell our minivan as a family with 3 very small kids, I mean, we're talking about 3 full-blown car seat children. There's a video in the description box below about the decisions that led to selling our minivan. There were many people that said, do not sell your minivan. I still maintain.
Oh, we're still selling.
We need to sell the minivan.
We're absolutely selling. We don't need it.
It's absolutely excessive.
We just
for
don't
us to
need
have
it.
the minivan.
We don't need a $25,000 minivan that we're not going to drive or use.
Correct. Okay.
Anyway.
Continuing on. It was actually my idea to sell the minivan. I texted Brad and he was like, what?
Yeah, I thought you were crazy at first. But then once we got our truck in our possession and I saw how giant the back seat is.
Right.
Yeah, no, we don't need a minivan.
Right.
So I put it on the market. I put it on Craigslist and I put it on Facebook. And I had multiple messages. I think I told the news station 6. And 2 phone calls about it. And
the news station.
Yeah, the local news station, KY3. And anyway, so I had a gentleman, older Caucasian gentleman, call me and ask me about it. Asked like specific questions about, use and if anything wrong and general maintenance stuff. And said that his son, so literally the van is a 2018. It's in perfect mechanical condition. Literally the only thing wrong with it is the back bumper. Rachel scraped the crap out of it. How did you do that?
Well, our curb at work, like I backed into my parking spot and the curb, because the drive is at such a slant, the curb was really high. And I was just trying to make sure my nose wasn't sticking out, and I just got back too far. And it, like the curb and the bumper, and it just was like... And
I doubt there's nobody that can relate to that.
Nobody. I'm sure nobody ever has done that.
Yeah, you're the only one that's ever done that. Mm-hmm. So I was saying to him, like, that's the only flaw in the vehicle. He's like, oh, my son can fix that or whatever. And he said he was going to send his son to come look at it. And he's like, can you come down on the price at all? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, there's a little bit of room, blah, blah, blah. So we actually settled on a price, which I think was red flag number 1.
What?
Settling on a price before the guy actually even drove the van. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I would try to finagle before.
On the first phone call?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would.
mean, you might ask.
I don't feel like that was a red flag.
Well, looking back, I think it was.
Okay.
Because he had got a check for that amount.
Oh.
From the bank.
Oh.
Before he showed up.
I see. Okay.
Before his son showed up.
Didn't you say he had also walked away from a few before
He
that
said that he had already walked away from 2 because they weren't as described in their advertisements.
See, that's something my dad would say.
That's a used car salesman tactic for sure.
What do you mean a used car salesman tactic? I feel like that's a
like a negotiation
scammer.
Well, not necessarily a scammer, but someone who would say that to
it's not as described.
get you excited or whatever. whatever.
Okay. Oh.
And that's what he did. I mean, that's
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a guy that's purchasing a used car.
He would say that to like
make you excited that he's interested in your. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So anyway, so the kid comes, shows up, has the cashier's check, takes it for a test drive. We talk. He's a nice kid. And anyway, so he came after dark. And anyway, so
he was supposed to be there earlier.
Right, yeah, exactly. Just kept pushing back the time. And so gave me the check and took the van. But he came at night, so our security cameras, and he wore a mask because of COVID. So our security cameras didn't get a great shot of him. And we have multiple cameras around here. And he basically stayed out at the road. And like the car that dropped him off stayed out at the road. So we didn't get him on our security camera.
It turns out that car didn't have plates anyway.
Well, yeah.
That's going to come later. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they take the van and Rachel goes to the bank and deposits the check the next morning. Yeah.
So it was a cashier's check. I feel like we have purchased vehicles with a cashier's check.
Oh, you don't feel like we have?
No, we...
Multiple.
Yeah. I guess I feel like cashier's checks are as good as cash. You would think they are. And I didn't realize even that you could forge them or counterfeit them until now. I thought that was like a safe way to accept money. Like you don't accept a personal check ever. Now, obviously, I feel like because we're telling this story, you know what's going to happen, but you can't always trust a cashier's check in case you click off of this video in the next few seconds thinking...
Don't do it.
Don't do it, necessarily. But even if the cashier's check goes into your account, you still can't feel protected.
Which is just crazy.
We'll get to that point later, too, but cashier's checks are apparently not as good as cash anymore. Because it was a good enough cashier's check that I deposited. So you can't go into the bank. This is the thing. You can't show up at a bank with a person that's purchasing your vehicle anymore because you literally cannot go into the lobby anymore.
You would have to make an appointment. They do accept appointments.
Okay. So
at certain locations.
So at certain locations you can make an appointment, I guess. But
with us, we're US Bank, so yes.
Check with your bank, I guess. But anyway, the only way to deposit a check was to go through the drive-thru at the bank, and so I did that, and I deposited the check, and she accepted it, and it wasn't until almost a week later that they put a hold on the check. It was pending. It actually went into our account the night before, and then the next morning showed up as returned. It said returned, and we didn't even know what that meant. And so... like the whole time we're oblivious to the fact that we just got scammed out of $25,000 and our van is gone and we have no money for it. And so we sold it on a Thursday. I deposited the check Friday. It wasn't until a Wednesday morning that we realized this was all going down. And Brad was like, that morning, it was like before the banks even opened, Brad's like, that's weird. Our check for the van says, what did you say? It says returned or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it said returned or stopped or something weird was going on.
Right.
And we're both sitting there and the kids aren't even awake yet, or I might have had Eloise up. Oh God, and then it's just a blur. So that morning you're like, I don't know what this means. And so you start driving to work and you're like, I'll call the bank or something.
After they open.
Because
they open at 9 and it was like 8:30. But you ended up calling.
I ended up calling because it was like 9:01. No, they opened at 8. Was that right?
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, whatever time I called. I'm like, I don't want to wait until they open. So I called the bank and it does not sound good. And they said, call the police. And so I called you.
Yeah, so I called the police. They came over like almost immediately.
Which was surprising to me because I didn't realize that like... So
I didn't know they were going to come right away either because they like took my name, my address, my phone number. Didn't say, oh, we'll send a deputy over to your house right away.
Right. So like 30 minutes later, a freaking deputy shows up at her door and I have like the kids, they're naked from the waist down still. It was just, the first hour of our morning is chaos anyway, and then I look up and there's a deputy at our door. and so he comes in. Okay.
Turns out to be our knight in shining armor,
He
but
was a knight.
we'll get there.
We'll get there. So he just walks into the house. Oh, hold on. So he knocks or whatever, and I open the door and he just starts walking in. My very first thought was, he's not wearing a mask. You know what?
This is the Lake of the Ozarks.
It's the Lake of the Ozarks. So like people don't wear masks here. So he walks into the house, he's not wearing a mask, and I'm backing away and I'm trying to maintain 6 feet or whatever, because I'm just like, I didn't invite him in. You know, he just started walking in, which is fine. He's our deputy. He's like answering a call that we made.
Yeah. We invited him.
We essentially invited him over by calling the police saying we need your help. So anyway, he walks in, I'm backing away, and like he doesn't have a mask on, and I didn't know what to say. Like, first of all, I didn't even know he was coming. I had no idea where my mask was, because otherwise I probably would have put my mask on. But anyway, we got some like kickback on our video where we posted the deputy in our home, and people are freaking out that we weren't wearing masks. And I just like don't even know what to say about that, because I was completely caught off guard, first of all, that there was a deputy at our house, and I had no idea where my mask was, and I didn't want to like be like, hang on a second, let me go get my mask, I need to find it.
Exactly.
Anyway.
He's the authoritative figure in this equation.
Exactly. I just was trying to do what he said, and I was taking his lead at that point.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it was a very,
for people to fault you for that.
it was a very flustering situation.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Anyway.
The deputy's like, oh boy, this is not good. Because literally 2 weeks ago, he got the exact same call, but it was a boat and not a car.
Right. Same thing. Probably the same guy.
And same thing when you were talking to the bank earlier.
Yes.
Like, oh, you gave them the keys without the check clearing first? 3
times in a row, different people were like, oh my God, this is not good. Everybody was so worried. Everybody was so worried. And they kept saying like, this is not good. Like, I really hope this works out for you, but I'm really concerned for you. And each person that said that, I was just like it was setting in that we really screwed up, because at the beginning of the day, we were optimistic. There was something weird, like something didn't go through, like I didn't sign the back right. You know what I mean? My signature looks like I sign it and cross it out, but it's just my signature, so
right.
So I was like, maybe I just messed up signing the back.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. And then we got to like the guy in St. Louis that was like, no, this is counterfeit.
Shoot.
Yeah. You know what's funny is now that I listen back to the clips, like I let the camera roll on our vlog channel and let all of this unfold as the camera was rolling, because I just really didn't know what else to do, and I didn't want anyone else to fall victim to this like we had. But if you want to find out if we got our van back
or how we got it back,
watch our next video.
Hit that subscribe button. We'll post our video tomorrow.
Okay, we'll post tomorrow. Yeah, we'll post tomorrow. I feel like this is important information to get out there, because I don't feel like we're stupid people.
Well, that's exactly why we went on the local news, which will come. We'll tell you about that. All right, so we'll see you tomorrow.